Mr. Lu, in less than 2 hours the plane will take off. We need to check in. The assistant had barely finished speaking when Lu Jin Nian interrupted him softly. Get out of the car at the nearest taxi stop. Huh? The assistant was surprised. He was about to continue speaking when Lu Jin Nian calmly said, I'm not going to Rome today. Change the flight to tomorrow morning. After the assistant got out of the car, Lu Jin Nian sat in the driver's seat, his hand on the steering wheel. He tapped his fingers rhythmically, as if deciding something. He frowned, started the engine, and skillfully made a turn at the intersection, heading back into the city. The rap party for Till the End of Time was over, and Zhao Meng drove Qiao Hao back to Jin Su Garden. Jin Su Garden was a high-end residential area in Beijing, surrounded by mountains on 3 sides and known for its expensive land. The wedding suite of Lu Jin Nian and Qiao Hao was located in the villa area of Jin Su Garden. Zhao Meng parked the car firmly in front of the villa where Lu Jin Nian and Qiao Hao lived. By then, the rain had stopped, and the streets were unusually clean, washed by the rain. The streetlights reflected the water droplets on the ground, casting a warm glow. Qiao Hao said goodbye to Zhao Meng, and after Zhao Meng drove away, she took the key from her bag and opened the villa gate. The garden, which had once been filled with blooming flowers, was now quiet. With only a few petals scattered on the ground, the remaining raindrops gently dripped off the flowers, one by one. The villa entrance wasn't far, but Qiao Hao walked slowly. Lu Jin Nian had returned from Rome to Beijing. She wondered if he would return to Jin Su Garden tonight, or perhaps he was already here. What happened 3 months ago still troubled her. Qiao Hao truly didn't know how to face him. Just the thought of possibly running into Lu Jin Nian made her body tense and uneasy. Standing at the door of the villa, she closed her eyes and took a deep breath before unlocking the door. Inside the villa, there was no one, but the housekeeper who came twice a day to clean the outside. No live-in staff, so the place was very quiet. Qiao Hao stood in the hallway, glancing around. Seeing no one, she took off her shoes and slowly headed upstairs. When she reached the top, she found it empty. Only then did she let out a quiet sigh of relief. He wasn't here in Jin Su Garden, but she still wondered if he would come tonight. It had been 3 months since they last saw each other. In the first 2 months of their marriage, Lu Jin Nian would only occasionally stay in Jin Su Garden. Though his visits weren't fixed, he never stayed out past midnight. It was now 11 o'clock at night. In other words, if he had not arrived in the next hour, that would mean he wouldn't be coming tonight. For the entire duration of this waiting period, Qiao Hao had been anxious. Time passed slowly. The clock on the bedroom wall showed it was already 1 in the morning. She had been tense the whole night, but finally her body relaxed as she slumped into the couch. It was 1 in the morning now. He definitely won't show up tonight.
Qiao Hao deliberately waited until her emotions had completely settled before getting up from the sofa, picking up a set of pajamas, and heading to the bathroom. She ran the water to fill the bathtub first, then stood by the sink to remove her jewelry. After finishing her makeup removal, she grabbed her toothbrush and was about to apply toothpaste when the sound of footsteps, faint but distinct, reached her ears through the sound of running water. Her actions froze in an instant. She gripped the toothbrush tightly in her hand and stood motionless by the sink for a moment. Then she pushed open the bathroom door, only to find Lu Jin Nian standing by the sofa in the bedroom. Qiao Hao had been anxiously wondering if Lu Jin Nian might return in the middle of the night. She had relaxed only when the night grew late, thinking he wouldn't come. But now, caught off guard by his unexpected return, she shuddered. The fear and tension she felt were as intense as if her entire heart had been buried alive. Lu Jin Nian, hearing the sound of the door opening, slightly tilted his head and glanced toward Qiao Hao. His gaze was calm but emotionless. Qiao Hao trembled under his gaze. Instinctively, she averted her eyes from him, quickly lowering her head. Although she knew that speaking to him would likely get no response, she hesitated for a moment, then softly asked, "You're back?" She tilted her head towards him, but didn't even bother to look at him. Lu Jin Nian's lips tightened into a faint, rigid smile. His indifferent gaze left Qiao Hao and drifted elsewhere as he casually unbuttoned his suit jacket and threw it on the sofa. Qiao Hao had long since gotten used to Lu Jin Nian ignoring her words, but this time she couldn't help but feel even more sensitive to his cold, detached behavior. Perhaps it was because of what had happened 3 months ago. The man seemed to be encased in an icy shell, and it made her anxious, fearful, and desperate to run away. Gripping the toothbrush tightly, she finally gave herself an excuse to escape. The bathtub might be full now. I'll go take a shower first." Still, Lu Jin Nian showed no reaction to her words. He simply pulled off his suit jacket and tossed it on the sofa before turning and walking toward the bedroom door. After a while, as Lu Jin Nian left, Qiao Hao finally regained her composure. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and turned back into the bathroom. If she could, Qiao Hao would have liked to stay in the bathroom and hide until Lu Jin Nian left Jin Su Garden. But no matter how slowly she tried to take her time, she still had to eventually leave the bathroom. When she opened the bathroom door, she saw Lu Jin Nian returning from the adjacent room, dressed in sleepwear. He was sitting on the bed in the spot where he usually lay, his hands behind his head, eyes closed as he drifted off to sleep.
Qiao Hao had just opened the bathroom door when she saw Lu Jin Nian returning from the bathroom in the next room, wearing sleepwear and sitting on the bed, his usual spot. He had his hands behind his head, eyes closed, and appeared to be asleep. Qiao Hao couldn't even make out his facial expression, so she quickly averted her gaze, lowering her eyelashes as she sat down at the vanity table. The mirror in front of the vanity table reflected the large bed where the two of them slept, so every time she looked into the mirror, Qiao Hao couldn't help but steal glances at him through the reflection. At first, Qiao Hao only dared to sneak quick glances at him, always hiding her gaze, but eventually she noticed he kept his eyes closed, seemingly really asleep. That was when she dared to focus on her skincare routine, quietly glancing at him through the mirror. His face, Qiao Hao could still clearly picture each of his features, even with her eyes closed. Yet, from the moment they first met 13 years ago until now, every time she saw his face, she felt a deep sense of awe. Perhaps it was because his eyes were closed, or because the cold indifference that usually filled his gaze had disappeared. The chill surrounding him seemed to dissipate, and his features looked much softer. Qiao Hao found herself momentarily lost in thought. She forgot to spread the lotion on her face as she continued to stare at him. Though this was just her secret, unspoken love, the peace of simply watching him like this began to fill her heart with warmth and happiness that she couldn't quite describe. If he had opened his eyes and caught her staring at him, she would never have dared to look directly at him like this. The depth of his gaze would have exposed the secret buried deep inside her. Her face softened, and unable to resist, she gently reached out and touched his reflection in the mirror. Her fingers traced the contours of his face, caressing his nose, then stopping at his slightly parted lips. Her mind instantly recalled the night 3 months ago, the night she had kissed those lips of his. Even though it was 3 months, she still vividly remembered how soft and warm they had felt. Her heart raced uncontrollably, the beats growing faster. Her fingers lingered on his lips in the reflection. Just as Qiao Hao was about to lose herself completely in her quiet, secret world of love, her phone suddenly buzzed with a message reminder. Lu Jin Nian, lying on the bed, seemed disturbed by the sound, frowning slightly. Qiao Hao was startled. Instinctively, she pulled her hand back and, in panic,
grabbed a cotton pad to wipe away the lotion she had smeared all over her face.
Perhaps because Qiao Hao almost got caught staring at Lu Jin Nian, she no longer dared to glance at him through the mirror where he lay on the bed. Instead, she froze up, her eyes fixed on her own reflection as she slowly applied her skincare products. In her mind, Qiao Hao thought that, although Lu Jin Nian had woken up, with her careful and slow movements, he would likely fall back asleep. She took her time with each step, moving as slowly as possible, so slow that even a tortoise would be faster than her. After finishing her skincare, she stood up and through the mirror secretly glanced at Lu Jin Nian again. She saw that he was lying on the bed, holding his phone, seemingly looking at something. When Qiao Hao saw Lu Jin Nian awake, her anxiety grew even more. She quietly moved to one side, first turning off the bedroom lights, then slowly making her way to the bed. Just as she was about to pull the blanket up to lie down, she suddenly seemed to think of something. She turned around and walked to the closet, pulling out a large teddy bear that was as tall as her. When Qiao Hao returned to the bed with the teddy bear in her arms, Lu Jin Nian casually lifted his head, glancing at her. His eyes were cold. Qiao Hao was so frightened that she dared not even breathe. She quickly lay down, placing the teddy bear between herself and Lu Jin Nian, effectively creating a barrier between them. Finally, Qiao Hao let out a quiet sigh of relief, but she kept her body perfectly still, not daring to move. The teddy bear had been bought after they had gotten married, after the two of them had slept together a couple of times and decided to buy it. Because of her love for him, every time she was close to Lu Jin Nian, her heart would race, making her feel nervous for no reason. At first, when she lay in bed, her posture was always very proper. She didn't dare move, but as she drifted off to sleep, her body would naturally relax, and her sleeping posture would become more casual. She didn't always realize she was in such a situation, and there were times when she might accidentally brush up against him. On the first night, he just pushed her away, but on the second night, he picked her up, threw her out of bed, then got up, dressed, and left the room. At that time, Qiao Hao only knew that he didn't like her touching him, even when they slept. He didn't allow any accidental contact. To prevent a similar situation from happening again, the next day she intentionally bought a large teddy bear that was about 1.80 meters tall. Every time they slept together, she placed the bear between them. This way, it not only prevented her from accidentally touching him, but also served as a shield to block him. Every time this happened, she would never sleep first, because with him so close by, she would only fall asleep after much tossing and turning. The room was dimly lit by a nightlight, and the view was clear, making her hearing unusually sensitive. Qiao Hao lay beside the teddy bear, her eyes closed, but there was no trace of sleepiness. A pleasant, light scent from him slowly drifted into her nose, stirring something deep inside her heart.